And so to a great deal of my people, but to anyone who is watching this, who uses zodiac signs and horoscopes as a primary vetting system, I encourage you to challenge yourself and look deeper than the elusive. Because if you essentially attribute all of that person's behavioral patterns to what's a line in the stars, which is likely not even a line in the stars, since a great deal of what we use is bastardized spiritual systems in America that are half baked, then it turns to a major oversight of the actual work that you need to do in yourself. A lot of you who use these signs and horoscopes as a primary vetting system for dating are likely still choosing the exact same lovers you were trying to run away from in that sign and another sign, which makes your whole point a null and void around it being a sign issue of whether or not they are the way they are because they're in Aries or what have you. A lot of you are still ending up with less favorable outcomes in situations and love quarrels regardless of who the sign or what the sign is. And that's because there is something that either consciously or subconsciously you are choosing to ignore when it comes to your own work on yourself. It's the same thing with twin flames and parabons, whatever what have you. These things, they are fun to play with. And I'm not saying they're entirely false. I'm making the argument that a great deal of it is. When you use systems like these that are half baked, you're putting lipstick and eyeshadow and putting in a nice lace front on a monster that needs to be put to rest. You are dressing up the issue, right? And the most grandiose of attire, the Gucci, right? The Prada, you're dressing it up to beautify it, right? So you don't have to deal with that terrifying beast for the teeth that it's showing you. That monster is your trauma. And the more you blame that trauma on a sign instead of your own trauma history, the more and more and more you're going to continue to seek out your familiar love, which, as we know, your familiar love is not always the love that's best for you. I can't express to you how many times people who use zodiac signs and horoscopes like this, where I've tried to call them into doing deep introspection, right? To assess themselves, right? To recognize their own flaws. And when you do this, they oftentimes react with an adverse reaction. Will either suggest that they don't need to because they're so spiritually attuned and endowed that they've already worked through that. These people will exhibit toxic masculine or toxic feminine traits very often. Will even go as far as to say things like, I know I'm toxic. Like it's a laughing matter. And it's not. It's